Hello and welcome to Total Health with Dr. Nick, where my purpose is to inspire, empower, and motivate you to live longer, healthier, and more abundant lives. And today I want to talk to you about a question that I get virtually every single day, and that is, how do I get more high-quality fats into my diet? Many of you doing a keto diet, or if you're not, you know of the importance of fats, but you want the quality fats. So I did a video a few months back where I talked about clean keto versus dirty keto, and I talked about the importance of higher quality fats rather than just any kind of fat, and just how important it is to your overall health. Now, certainly you can lose weight. You know, a lot of people tell me, hey, I'm losing weight even if I'm eating, you know, what you call the dirty calories and dirty carbs and dirty proteins and dirty fats. And you can do that. You can lose weight on that. But importantly, or more importantly, I should say, is are you healthy? And are you eating the right quality fats? Remember, the building blocks of your body are what you put into it. So let's talk about how to get more high-quality fats, and the best fats possible we're going to be talking about today. So what are the best fats? So please make sure you watch till the very end, where I'm going to give you every single fat that I can think of that are healthy. I'm sure there's some that I may miss that are super high quality and super healthy for you. So like I said, watch to the very end. And once again, if you like what we're talking about, please make sure you like, you share, you comment, and subscribe. So let's go ahead and dive on in. So first of all, let's talk about animal fats. Now, I know a lot of you are afraid of that, Dr. Nick. I can't eat animal fats. I've heard they're going to raise my cholesterol. In fact, you know, people have told me the ketogenic diet is dangerous. Let me tell you, there's nothing wrong with saturated fats, and there's nothing wrong with animal fats. In fact, go back and watch one of the videos I did on the reasons why you want to eat more saturated fats. And I believe there was about 10 of them, and you'll be pretty surprised as to how important saturated fat is. But it's mainly present in animal fats. So let's talk about that. First of all, tallow. What's tallow? Well, tallow is beef fat. Make sure that the source you're getting is coming from grass-fed cows. That way you make sure the omega-6 and omega-3 ratio is about a 4-to-1 or 1-to-1 ratio, omega-6 to omega-3, okay? So more omega-6 to omega-3. Omega-6 is very inflammatory, so you don't want it to get too far out of skew on the standard American diet, or the stupid American diet, or the sad American diet, whatever you choose to call it. Sometimes it can be 20-to-1 or 30-to-1, and it's highly inflammatory. Lard comes from pigs, pork. Important to make sure that you're getting that, if you are going to get it, from a clean source. The problem I have is many people will say to me, why do you have such an issue with pork or bacon? You know, I'm losing weight on it, and that's great. You will lose weight on eating pork and bacon and so on. But make sure it's a good quality pork. Many of you can raise it or have access to it. Pork and commercially raised methods, you know, you've got a lot of hormones, a lot of steroids, and a lot of antibiotics. Not only that, pork tends to hold a lot of its toxins in its fat, and that's probably the biggest reason, or 2 or 3, why I'm not a big fan of bacon, except on occasion. You could have it, just have it on occasion, but lard comes from pork. Butter, of course. Butter, make sure it's, once again, it's grass-fed. Ghee. Now, what is ghee? A lot of people don't know what ghee is. Ghee is basically clarified butter. So a lot of times when you go to a restaurant and you're having maybe lobster or crab or something, and you're dipping it in that, looks like butter, but it's a lot clearer, that's clarified butter. So basically what they're taking is the casein out of it, which is the proteins, and that way you just have more clear butter. Now, it tends to be much better, it's cleaner, it's purer, and it's got a much higher smoking point. So it's really good to use in cooking. So if you want to use it on your eggs, you want to use it on beef, you can brush it on steak when you go ahead and put it on the grill, especially if you're grilling at a high temperature, then ghee is going to be really good for you. Now, eggs, of course, and I know a lot of you are thinking, well, wait a minute, eggs, there's so much cholesterol in eggs. I've heard not to eat eggs. Well, guys, eggs have made a full circle. I don't know if you've noticed that. First they're bad, then they're good, then they're bad, then they're good. Well, they're good. Trust me. In fact, the best part of the egg is really the fat. The fat is the highest quality part. The white, which is albumin, is the protein, but the fat is really the most important part of it. And then, of course, fish. So what kind of fish are we talking about here? We're talking about things like salmon, fatty fish, things like sardines and mackerel. So get those kinds of fish. Now, some of the fats I'm talking about you're putting on your food or you're cooking with it, and some of the fats like salmon and sardines and mackerel, they actually are your food. So use the fatty or oilier fish, much better for you. What's next but oils? So what kind of oils are good? Once again, stay away from the vegetable oils. If you want to see a video I did on that, on the reasons why not to use and why you should stop using vegetable oils immediately, go back and watch that one. But other than that, some of the best you can use are things like olive oil. Olive oil is probably one of the finest oils you can do. Now you have to be careful with it because olive oil doesn't have a very high smoking point, so you can really oxidize it and turn this wonderful oil into a bad oil, making it rancid really fast if you get it beyond its smoking point. So one of the questions I get a lot is, hey, can you cook with olive oil? And of course the answer is yes, but you want it on a low to medium heat. That's it. It is not for high heat. Other than that, you want to use olive oil to drizzle on things. So for example, if you do a steak, drizzle it on, and afterwards use it in salads, put it on vegetables. Avocado oil, fantastic also. We all know the benefits of avocados. But what you might not realize is that the smoking point for avocado oil is about 460 degrees. So it's much better at a higher temperature. Another oil, and I put these oils in typically the order that I use them, olive oil, avocado, and coconut. Coconut can handle a high heat also. Fantastic oil, both monounsaturated fats and saturated fats, so it's a fantastic, fantastic oil to use. Of course, it's got the MCTs in it, and there you have your MCT oils. For those of you who don't know what MCT oils are, they are basically your 6, 8, 10, and 12 carbon chain. So they're your smaller parts of your coconut oil, your capric acid, caprylic, caproic, and lauric acid. So those are the oils that make up your MCT oils, and they're fantastic. You don't want to use them in cooking. Recommend, once again, you could put it on a spoon, you could put it in your coffee, you can drizzle it on foods, but you really don't want to cook with it. Walnut oil, a great oil. It's got a pretty high smoking point. Fantastic, fantastic omega-3 fats. And macadamia oil. You're going to see later on when I talk about some of the nuts that you can eat that are the best ones, your macadamia and walnut are some of your finest, so you want to use those. Next, I gave this one a category all by itself because coconut is so versatile and there's so many different uses for it. So of course, coconut milk. Guys, I'm going to come out with some great recipes where I use coconut milk. First of all, it's in my pancake recipe, and I made a really amazing chia pudding the other night that's going to blow your socks off. If you like pudding, you're going to love this one. So I use it in virtually everything. Smoothies, chia pudding, pancakes, anything. Sometimes I just drink it as is. So coconut milk, coconut oil, we talked about that and how versatile it is, how important it is. Coconut butter. Now, what is coconut butter? Coconut butter is basically, and I'll put a link below so you can go order coconut butter if you can't get it where you are or if you don't know what it is. But coconut butter is also called coconut manna or coconut puree. It's basically taking the shredded coconut and you put it in a food processor and blend it up until it basically liquefies. So it's similar to coconut oil in that it's got a white color when it's at a cooler temperature. But when it does get warmer, it doesn't turn clear like coconut oil. It has a pulpier texture. So it's almost like the coconut oil with pulp to it. So fantastic. It's a little bit sweet, so it's just a great snack. Sometimes I like to just eat it off the spoon. That's how good it is. And of course, coconut flakes or shredded coconut, great snack. Just go ahead and just eat it as is. You want to make sure, though, that it's organic and unsweetened. Avocados, another one that gets its own category because avocados are one of the most perfect foods you can eat. And I love avocados. I eat 1 to 2 avocados a day. Well, maybe not 2 so often, but at least 1 a day, sometimes 2 depending on what I'm cooking. But just packed with nutrients, great quality fats, one of the best all-around superfoods you can eat. And so you can have it just cut in half. Sometimes I'll cut it in half, take the pit out, and go ahead and just squeeze some lemon juice on it, some salt, or make some guacamole out of it. Whatever you choose, slice it up with tomatoes, some onions, put it in a cucumber salad, dynamite. Also, too, of course, avocado oil, great oil. I talked about it earlier. Smoking point's pretty high, so you could definitely use this in cooking. And it's got a little bit milder taste than olive oil. So sometimes you may not want olive oil because what you're cooking or making, you really don't want that much of a taste to it of the oil. So avocado oil is a great choice to use where you don't get that much of a taste to it. Coconut you can. So if you want your eggs tasted like coconut, little tropical eggs, then use coconut with your eggs. Dairy. Now, this one's a little bit controversial. Why? Well, because on some of my previous videos, I talked about how dairy can be inflammatory. Well, it's inflammatory typically when you're using commercial dairy. When you're using dairy that raising it and you've got it right off the farm, that's the best kind where it's grass-fed, hopefully not even pasteurized. That's the way you want it. So anyway, things like grass-fed cheese, fantastic. There's a lot of them out there. Kerrygold is a great one. Heavy cream. I use heavy cream in a lot of my recipes. I used it in a creamy Parmesan salmon recipe. I use it sometimes in my pancakes and things. Whole milk. Yes, whole milk, not skim milk, not partially skim milk, not 2%. You want whole milk, okay? So just use whole milk and be good with it because it's a really good choice. Now, ghee. Once again, we talked about ghee. Basically, ghee is clarified butter and Greek yogurt. Just make sure that it's not sweetened. If you want to put a little bit of fruit in it, maybe some berries, you want to make it a little bit more of a dessert, hey, go ahead and indulge a little bit. In fact, many times I talk about the fact that on my keto diet, I cycle in and out. You don't want to be on keto all the time, or maybe you do, but I choose to come on and off of it. Sometimes on the weekends I'm off and I take a day or so to just kind of feast a little bit and replenish all my glycogen storage, and then bam, right back on Monday I'm back into ketosis. Because once you become keto adaptive, you can get in and out of ketosis really easily. In fact, a lot of times people say to me, Dr. Nick, I think I blew it. If I have something on a weekend or if I have some cheat day or something, am I going to blow my whole keto diet? And the answer is no, so don't worry about it. Don't stress. Just have your cheat day or your treat day, as I call it, and then get right back on it. I bet you if you test yourself with one of those Keto Mojo strips that I talk about, and I'll put a link below for one of those. If you test yourself with a Keto Mojo strip, you'll find that you're right back in ketosis come Monday morning. So relax, enjoy your life, have a little bit of fun, and get right back into keto. Or sometimes, as I mentioned before, I go back and forth between keto and paleo, just depending on how I feel. All right, next, nuts. Now, what I did is I put these in order from best to worst. Now, how can nuts be bad? Dr. Nick, nuts are good for you. Not really, not all of them, because a lot of them can be pretty high carb, like cashews, for example. Cashews are one of the worst. They taste great, they taste buttery, they taste creamy, they're amazing, but they could be one of the worst because they have more grams of carbs, or net grams of carbs per ounce, than virtually all the other nuts. So starting from the top, I don't know if I'm pronouncing this right. It's either pili or pili, one of those two. Either way, it's a very tiny little nut, and it is probably the best because it's just got so much more fat in it than it does carbs. So 0.6 grams of net carbs per ounce. So just virtually the lowest there is. And from there, you have things like pecans, Brazil nuts, walnuts, macadamia, hazelnuts. Those are all in a range of 1.2, 1.5, 2. Walnuts 2, almonds 2.6, and pistachios are 5 grams per ounce. So once again, start from the top down, work your way down, maybe cheat a little bit from time to time with the cashews. But if you really want to stay in ketosis, you're going to want to make sure you're staying closer to the top. All right, seeds, last but not least, another type of fat. Like I said, some of these fats are things you're going to eat for fat, and some of them you're just going to sprinkle on or cook with. Well, these are some of the ones you want to sprinkle on or even snack with. So looking at things like chia seeds. Once again, I made a phenomenal chia pudding the other day. That was really great. I'll be doing a cooking show on that, so you'll get to see it. But chia seeds are great. They make a nice kind of creamy, gelatinous kind of pudding that's super high healthy for you. These were just prized by the Aztecs as one of their superfoods, one of the highest omega-3 profiles of any food. So chia seeds are fantastic. Flax, good too. But the thing with flax is this. You don't want to get flax. It's already ground, and I don't recommend flax oil because once you break the kernel and once you pulverize it, the oil becomes exposed to oxygen and it can oxidize and become rancid. So what I recommend is you want to make sure that if you're going to use flax, you grind them up in a coffee grinder fresh when you want them. Sprinkle it on your foods. You're not going to really be able to digest it. In fact, you're probably going to see it the next day. If you try to eat the flax seeds whole, they really don't grind down that well. You have to grind them already. And once again, just put them in a coffee grinder. That's one of the best ways to do it, or a Vitamix if you have that. Hemp seeds are great. Fantastic source of protein. Once again, with this though, you want to make sure that they are, taken out of their kernels. You want to make sure it's the hearts of the hemp. Pumpkin seeds, fantastic snack, and sunflower seeds. So you want to get all those, and make sure that they are raw. Also too with the nuts, make sure that they are raw, not roasted. not blanched, not radiated, whatever. Make sure that your sources of these are raw so that way you get all the vital enzymes and nutrients and all the goodness that they have, all right? Just the way God made them. So anyway, guys, I hope this is good information for you. If so, please make sure you like, you share, you comment, and subscribe. So anyway, thanks so much for joining me today. This is Dr. Nick. Have a blessed day, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.